I just want to go into this rat poison theory. It wasn't me who mentioned rat poison. It was this person in this comment. So thanks to this person for pointing it out. They said, Jane said if she would have been up or watching them, it wouldn't have happened. They probably have rodent poison on the property somewhere. And I wrote back, rodent poison smells just like cake or sweets and is usually coloured bright pink or blue. And pink jumped out at me because that other psychic got pink and I got pink come up. And I was like, oh my God, is this what it's actually about? And you'll see more in a minute. And I said, it terrifies me when we have to buy it because we have 4 grandkids. And somebody, it's the same person, said, Malaya's mum calls Daniel poison. And Daniel said they will eat and drink anything. Now, if you look here, I noticed these green crates or bins by the back door. And I did say they're the perfect size to fit 2 children in. I hope I'm not correct there. But also, I wonder if they were using those as like temporary rubbish bins, because you should never have rubbish bins near your doors. That's a number one way to attract rats. These are the rat poisons we have to buy. Unfortunately, we hate doing it because we used to have pet rats, so we love them, but we live out in the country and we've tried every humane method going and it unfortunately doesn't work, and we've had to resort to this. Now, if you notice, these are a pinkish colour, dark pink. Now, I don't know what the rat bait looks like in Canada, but I'm assuming it's probably the same as we have. Now, notice the shape of that. That'll be important in a minute. So there's pink, and it does smell like cakes. It's ridiculous because rodents love sweet stuff. They do have sweet tooth. Our pet rats used to love biscuits, sweet biscuits. Now, but unfortunately, that is attractive to children, and especially autistic children, if indeed Jack and Lily were autistic. And I'm going to show you some other rat baits. Now, you get these granule ones. That looks just like popping candy. So that's really disturbing, isn't it? So there's a blue one. You also get these ones in little sachets that look like little bags of sweets or candy, as you call it, outside of this country. They look like little individual packets of sweets. And here's a nice bright pink one. Pink. This is a pasta version. Here's blue blocks. Another pink one. This is called Ruby Rat Bait. Here's the ones we buy, the Rodex, which is pink. And the thing is, I'm not being rude, but is it possible that Daniel just thought, oh, I don't need bait boxes, I can just sling it under the trailer as it is in the blocks, the kids won't get it, or didn't even consider the kids, and he's just slung the blocks down here, there and everywhere, and the kids have got hold of it and blooming eaten it, because it does smell like cakes, as I've said. And obviously they've been poisoned and the worst has happened and they've panicked and they've had to dispose of them. Does this explain the days off school while they were slowly being poisoned off this rat bait? Because you're supposed to put them in bait boxes. Is there a picture? No, there's not. But you're supposed to put them in lockable bait boxes, which is what we do, so that kids can't get to them. But, you know, did he just sling them down all over the place? Because when you look at this location, this is perfect for rats, right? You've got a chicken coop. Chickens attract rodents. You've got all this rubbish down here, which they would love. Rats love to play and climb. Rats are notorious climbers, so they would use this as an adventure playground, right? Sorry, that's why I said, oh my God, look at the shape of the bait blocks, because this card came up in my most recent reading, and I was like, what the heck does that mean? Look at the shape of them. Octoblock, octagon, right? And I also got the rat card on my very first reading back in 20th of May. I mean, this might be a ridiculous theory, or it might be true. I've just thought I better do a video about it, because you never know. So we look at this location. It is a rat's haven. We get them, and we don't have a big garden like this that's full of rubbish and chicken coops and, you know, woods nearby. The woods they would be attracted to. They'd be in and out of the woods. And if there's a water source, that's another attractor. And look, all the cars. Rats love car engines. We've had damage to our car engine because they go in there and they actually nest. When we opened our car bonnet, we actually found nesting materials in there. So beware, if you have rats in your garden, you need to check inside your car, because they will chew the wiring to your engine, and it can cost an extreme amount of money to get it fixed if you don't spot it in time. So you can get ultrasound devices that you can put inside near your engine. So I suggest one of those if you have rats. Excuse my speech. If you have rats and you've got cars. But look at all these cars that the rats would love to play in and hide in. And this badly made deck. Again, as I said, rats love climbing. When we had pet rats, we had to ensure that they had a climbing frame and ropes to swing on and stuff. They would love climbing on that, and they would hide under this. You know, did Daniel or whoever throw bait blocks under this deck here and the kids got hold of them? The whole place is a rat paradise. You've got all the dead wood at the back, which they would take for nesting materials. They would take straw from the chicken coop, because when I had a pet duck, they would go into my duck's house and take the straw for their own nests. You know, they will go under trailers like this. So how easy would it be for someone lazy to just chuck blocks under there? And as this family didn't have much money, so I heard, because he was only working 1 day a week, did he just think, oh, I can only afford the blocks, I can't afford the boxes to go with it? And, you know, they will get in through these little chimney bits here, because rats can squeeze into a gap. I can't remember the measurements, but I do know mice can squeeze into a gap the size of a biro, and that's true. I watched one do it. You know, this is just suddenly hit me when I saw that comment from whoever that was. Thanks for pointing that out. And then I went, oh, hang on a minute, I got that card with the octagon on it, which looks like the bait shape. And then I went, wait a minute, I got the rat card in my very first reading. I mean, I don't think it's any crazier theory than all the others. You know, look at all this wooded area. Perfect rat habitat. Is that a little stream there? I don't know, probably. They only need the smallest water source. And when rats are dying of poisoning, they're actually clever enough to know to find water to try and flush it out of their system. So I think it's worth thinking about. Did they get hold of rat poison because it smells like cakes and sweets? It really does. I've smelt it. And it's brightly coloured, which is what children, particularly autistic children, are drawn to. Did they eat it? And the days off school were while the parents were panicking but didn't dare take them to hospital, and they were hoping it would clear up. They might even not have known what they'd eaten. They just thought they were really sick. And, tragedy struck. And then they've panicked. And they've had to dispose of them, which sounds awful. But, things like this happen. Most parents with a brain will call an ambulance. But for some reason, did they not? Because they already had Child Protective Services on their case. So, how bad does that look? If you've got Child Protective Services on your case and then your kids get into rat poison, that doesn't look good, does it? So did they panic? Worth thinking about. But, thanks to that person who brought that up, the rat poison, that I thought, wait a minute. I'm sure I got the rat card, and here it is, back on 20th of May.